Well, I just thought I would do this video. The way things are going and whatnot. I wanted to add my 2 cents to a lot of videos I have been seeing on YouTube. The whole thing's about bugging out. And I think a lot of people are missing the boat on a lot of things. Yeah, having this bug out bag is a great idea. Okay, you have your bug out bag and 72 hours worth of provisions or whatever. Okay, you have bugged out. Now what? What happens 72 hours later? Anyway, if you're going to try to bug out alone, you are quite possibly quite screwed. I think we are a little late in the game to start getting ready. If you are not ready yet, you are way behind the curve. If I had a credit card with some significant balance on it, I would have already went to the grocery store and maxed it out on non-perishable food. You can have all the weapons and ammunition you want and get all the cool Gucci gear and all the cool training that you can get. If you can't eat, if you can't get drinking water, and if you can't practice basic sanitation, you're going to die. I'm going to give some advice from my perspective on bugging out. The more people in your group, the better. And what y'all should have done a long time ago, say like you come up with your bug out plan. Alright, you should have rehearsed it by now several times. But since you haven't done that yet, these are just my 2 cents and my opinions. Number one, you need to get some communications. You need to decide on what type of comms you're going to run and stick with that. Yes, everyone has the cool blister pack radios. I recommend the Baofengs and getting a program called Chirp and programming these radios all together. People want to talk about the legalities and whatever. Well, if you're in the situation where you're really having to use it, I don't think you're worried about being picked up by the FCC. Not that I'm encouraging anybody to break the law. Of course not. CBs are a good option. People say, oh, no, they're not. Well, here's why. As far as like communicating from car to car, they are. Many people don't realize your car is kind of like a Faraday cage. And you can get the blister pack GMRS radios or whatever. And you can't, it's hard to communicate from car to car with the windows rolled up. The signal has a hard time getting out. It will get out, but your range is so diminished, you might as well stick your head out the window and yell at each other going down the road. Just try it. So you need some kind of external antenna. Okay, well, you go with the external antenna. Okay, now you have to find one of those radios that takes an external antenna. Wait a minute, those are prohibited. I'm talking about the blister pack radios, not the Baofengs. They do make an external antenna for Baofeng. And the reason why I suggest the Baofeng, it's cheap, readily available, and you can get accessories for it, and you can tune it to the GRMS and the FRS bands. So a program out there somewhere that you use with Chirp, and it will tune your Baofeng radio automatically for the FRS, GMRS, and MERS bands. They'll just arbitrarily throw them in there. Anyway, and with the Baofeng, once you get to where you're going, you can disconnect your external antenna. Your mobile antenna, and put your rubber ducky on. And some people say you really should get the alternate, some other antenna rather than the default one that comes with it. Oh, and about pouches for carrying your Baofeng radio, like a Molly pouch or something. The pouch for the M18 smoke grenade works great as a Baofeng pouch. Just a little tip. Also, you need maps of your bug out area. Everyone in your group needs to have these same maps. I also recommend coding them with something called ACE tape or ACE tape, or going to a professional print shop and getting your maps laminated, and you can write on them with like the whiteboard markers. Though it's been my experience, the blue color and the red color is more difficult to get off for some reason. And what you do when you are traveling, you have landmarks, say like intersections on roads or whatever. You assign names to them, so when the convoy of you and your merry band of marauders are bugging out or going skiing, fishing, or whatever, you can communicate back and forth. So if anybody is listening, so say like this major intersection, you never say it by the street names. It will be Waypoint Alpha or the 6th hole or something. Just give it some name. And never have your end destination on the map. That way, if your map ends up in the wrong hands, no one really knows where you're going. Also, you want to scout out places along the way to refuel. And I'm not talking about stopping at gas stations. I'm talking about you want to carry jerry cans of gasoline with you. And you really should have non-methanol, real gasoline in them with a stabilizing agent. Find concealed places to where you can get off the road and refuel. When you do these operations, you should also have your group, no one all refuels at the same time. You're going to have some people on overwatch while others fuel, and so on. Oh yeah, another thing, weapons maintenance. If you're out in the field, if you need to take your weapon down to clean it, don't everyone in your fire team clean their weapon at the same time. You tell your battle buddy, hey, I'm servicing my weapon, and have him or her overwatch you while you take care of that. And the other way around. But anyway, sorry, got off on a tangent there. Yeah, it's like I've scouted some places like that. Like if I chose to go to my father's place, he lives out in Two Stumps, Mississippi somewhere. I've scouted out a few places to stop and fuel. And you also want to, if you can, avoid the major roads. Because if there is a quote, a real lockdown situation, that's where they're going to be, trying to scoop people like you up. Y'all hear that? Yeah, the joys of being in Frasier. That being said, you want to have also, if you definitely know if your bug out plan and where you're going to go, you want to have as much of your equipment as possible pre-positioned there, if at all possible. Whether it's buried in caches or whatever. That way, if on your way there you are interdicted by authority figures, there isn't much for them to seize. Think about that. Anyway, this is something I don't hear a lot of people on the survivalist blogs talking about. Use your head, people, and I can't help but feel this crap's about to get real. I don't know what's going to happen, but those of you that really don't have a plan or whatever, I hope, what I've been ranting about for the last 5 minutes may give you some insights or some ideas. Another reason why I recommend CBs is the same reason for the Baofangs. They are cheap, readily available. Once you get your SWR set, the natives are getting restless in Fraser tonight. Anyway, once you get your SWR set, even without a linear, you can still reach out a few miles. Just stay away from the handheld radios. The handheld CBs, they tend to be junk. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end it. You all have a good night.